Have you ever seen an orangutan use a saw like a human? This is incredible. Let's go to the next one. This is very interesting. They found this orangutan in Borneo. It was a male orangutan. He was about 45 years old. He was really good at using that saw. But it gets even better. The researchers started following this orangutan because they wanted to see what he would do with that saw. And he took it to his treehouse. He would go to this one particular tree, take the saw out of his bag, and start sawing away at it. And then when he was done, he would put the saw back in his bag and go about his merry way. But here's the thing. Every single time he did this, he would drop the saw at the exact same spot. So they decided to dig up the area where the saw was dropped, and guess what they found? They found metal fragments from the saw on the ground below the treehouse. So basically, this orangutan was using a saw like a human being, except he was using it backwards. Usually, when an animal uses a tool, it's not like we humans use it. For example, you've probably seen videos of crows using sticks. They'll take a stick and they'll use it to get food out of a wall or something like that. But they don't use the stick like we humans would use it. They use it in a very different way. But this orangutan was using the saw exactly like a human would use it. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty amazing. I mean, think about how intelligent this orangutan is. He figured out how to use a saw to cut down trees so he can make his treehouse better. I mean, that's incredible. It's just amazing to me how intelligent these animals are. There have been other orangutans that have been observed using tools in the wild. For example, there was one orangutan that was using a leaf like a sponge. She would take a leaf and she would dip it into water, and then she would take the leaf out of the water and squeeze it over her body to cool herself off. It's pretty amazing. But this orangutan took it to the next level. I mean, he's actually using a saw. I mean, that's just crazy. And it's not just this one orangutan either. There have been other orangutans in the area that have been observed using saws as well. So maybe this is a thing that orangutans do now. Maybe they are reusing saws to build their tree houses, or maybe they are reusing them for other things. Who knows? But it's pretty amazing to see how intelligent these animals are. These orangutans are so smart that they are able to figure out how to use a saw to cut down trees. I mean, that's just amazing to me. I mean, think about how many steps it takes to use a saw. First, you have to hold it in your hand. Then you have to move it back and forth. And then you have to apply pressure to the saw in order to cut the tree. That's a lot of steps for an animal to figure out. But these orangutans have figured it out. And it's not just the physical act of using the saw that's amazing. These orangutans also seem to understand the concept of cause and effect. They understand that when they pull the saw back and forth, it will cause the tree to fall. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to use the saw effectively. Another thing that's amazing about this is that these orangutans are using a tool that was designed by humans. I mean, a saw is not a natural object. It's something that humans made. And yet these orangutans have figured out how to use it. One of the things that's so great about this story is that it gives us hope for the future. If we can just figure out how to communicate with these animals, I think we can learn so much from them. They're so smart and they're so resourceful. And they're able to use a saw to cut down trees. I think there's a lot that we can learn from them if we're willing to listen. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the next one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.